How is God asking us to enter into Holy Week with Jesus? Where are we being called to walk with Him? Hello, my name is Father Dan Steiner. I'm the 8th pastor of Holy Rosary Parish over in Donaldson, and I would like to talk to you today about a nice reflection on Palm Sunday. We start with the city itself, Jerusalem, and that holy city that God has promised that the Messiah will return to. This wonderful city we know means it also saves. God saves. And it is in this procession, this joyful, triumphant entrance that Jesus comes in there, and we perhaps maybe need to see a few more details, and that is not only that this is the holy city that the Messiah will come to, but also the fact that He comes in riding on a donkey. Now perhaps we would ask ourselves, why would this king come into the city on a donkey? Just a mere simple donkey. It is to represent that this king is different than most kings. This king will not come in power to fight many wars. Rather, he will come in peace, this peace that he desires to give the rest of the world. Perhaps we would even wonder, why are they throwing their clothes in front or their garments in front of Jesus as he comes in? This also is a representation to show that this is a royal figure. This is a king that is in front of them. So they throw their garments on the floor to cover that for the king to walk on. So beautifully, St. Bede has a wonderful quote. He says, "The garments thrown under the colt signify the flesh of Christian martyrs who lay down their lives for the gospel, to proclaim that the Lordship is in Jesus Christ. He truly is the Lord who will reign in our hearts." Once again, as they see Jesus riding in on this donkey, perhaps some are questioning, wondering what is going on, but others clearly know that this is the Messiah that they've been hearing about and that they have been promised. So now as they have waited, now they get that excitement to actually see this king come into their presence. And so beautifully, when they see this king coming on this donkey, they would have been reminded of 1 Kings, on that account of Solomon when he was installed on the throne of his father David. To be anointed as well. This too would have reminded them of that moment, connecting the two and seeing this fulfillment in that prophecy earlier to now Jesus, this new king. Perhaps we could ask ourselves, what is the significance to this? Why is Jesus riding into this town? We know it because we know the full story, but we see it in this perspective of that entrance into the crucifixion. We know that this is the beauty of the passion, death, and resurrection. The end goal is that resurrection. Christ knows that, but he understands that there is a suffering that must take place before that. This suffering that allows us to understand truly what is sacrificial love, why the Father would send his Son to the world to help us receive that love. So as we enter into this, so too we are called to be like Jesus himself. In the scriptures, we are reminded that when he enters into Jerusalem, it says that his face was like flint. He was centered on it. So too we are called to be faithful, to try and give our best effort every day, to try and keep our eyes focused on God as well. So as we go out, perhaps through the rest of this week and entering into Holy Week, we should perhaps ask ourselves, how is God asking us to enter into Holy Week with Jesus? Where are we being called to walk with him? In what areas of our life are we perhaps being called to ask to let go of, so that we can give ourselves more to him? So that we can keep him at the center. Perhaps a beautiful figure we should also look at is Mary herself. We know that Mary stayed there to the very end. She was able to be with Christ not only as she raised him, but truly coming up to this moment. She is that beautiful disciple, the perfect disciple, as we are told, that gives us that constant reminder of what it means to be constant, what it means to persevere every day. And most importantly, what it is to continue to fall deeper in love with Jesus every day. It is in her commitment at being at the cross, understanding that as Christ suffers, so too she suffers as well. Those two hearts are always united. As we continue to embrace those sufferings, these crosses that the Lord has given us, let us always remember that there is hope. There is a beautiful end and a goal. That is our home in heaven. So too, as we enter into this suffering and one day our own death, we too will remember that promise that Christ has given us, that promise of eternal life. Let us continue to strive to become not only the saints that God is calling us to be, but to be able to come in and enter that beautiful heavenly home that our Father has prepared for us.